Most agencies sell rankings. Few can explain retained case economics. So here's the real question. If your agency can't tell you what a ranking is actually worth in retained cases, what exactly are you paying for? That's what we're breaking down today. If you're new here, my name is Jesse Stewart. I'm a paralegal and an SEO specialist. I help personal injury firms generate more retained cases using retained client SEO without PPC dependency. If you appreciate this type of content, gently tap the like button and let's get into the video. First, the gap between rankings and retained cases. Most legal SEO agencies report on some handful of metrics every month: rankings, traffic, maybe click-through rate, and on paper that looks like progress. Your firm shows up higher on Google, more people land on your site, the report has a nice green arrow pointing up, but none of that tells you where those visitors ever became a client. A ranking is visibility, it's not revenue. Visibility can go up every single month while your actual case count stays flat. And if no one on your team is checking, you won't catch it until a quarter or two has already gone by. And treating rankings and revenue as the same thing is exactly where most agencies stop doing their job. Here's why this happens. Ranking reports are easy to produce. A tool pulls the data, the agency drops into a template, and it gets emailed to you on the first of the month. Tracking whether the traffic actually turned into signed cases takes real work. It means connecting your website analytics to your intake process, to your CRM, and eventually to your accounting. Most agencies simply aren't built to do that, so they don't offer it, and firms are left assuming that a rankings report is the same thing as a growth report. It isn't. Next is why lead volume is the wrong scoreboard. Agencies love to report lead counts because it's an easy win to show you. Sounds great until you ask how many of those cases led to actually retained cases. A firm can get 100 form fills and sign 3 cases. Another firm can get 40 form fills and sign 15. Same marketing spend, same channel, completely different outcome for the firm. If your agency is only tracking volume, they are optimizing for the wrong outcome entirely, because more leads is always presented as a win, even when the quality of those leads is getting worse. This shows up in a specific way. When an agency is judged purely on lead count, they naturally chase keywords and campaigns that generate the most form fills, not the highest intent cases. That might mean ranking for broad searches that bring in a lot of curious clickers instead of a narrower, high intent searches like car accident lawyer plus a city name. That bring in fewer people who are far more likely to actually retain. Volume without quantity is just noise dressed up as a report, and it can quietly push your marketing in the wrong direction for months without anyone noticing. So here's the number that actually matters: cost per retained case. Not cost per lead, not cost per click, cost per retained case. This is the metric that tells you what you're actually paying to get one more signed client through organic search. A recent 2026 analysis of paid legal marketing spend across 13 personal injury firms found the average firm was paying around $284 per lead, but closer to $468 per signed case once you factor in conversion rate. That gap between lead and cost and case cost is the entire story. Most agencies never calculate this because it requires them to track a case all the way from the first search through the consultation to the signed retainer agreement. And that's more work than just handling a rankings on your score sheet. Next up is intake alignment, because this is where most of the leakage actually happens. A firm can have great rankings, strong traffic, and a fully optimized website, and still lose cases at the phone or the front desk. If intake staff aren't trained to qualify case fit, if follow-up on consultations does not convert immediately falls through the cracks, or if there's no clear standard or speed to contact, then all that marketing work gets wasted before it ever reaches a signed case. Agencies that stop at "we sent you the lead" have no visibility into this stage at all. And they have no incentive to fix it either, because from their perspective, the job is already done. Think about it this way. Marketing gets someone to pick up the phone or fill out a form. That's the hard part, and it costs real money to make happen. But if the person answering that call isn't using language that matches what brought the person in, or a consultation that does convert on the first call never gets a follow-up, the firm is throwing away work it already paid for. This is why intake scripts should be aligned with actual marketing messages that generated the lead, and why speed to contact needs a defined internal standard instead of whenever someone gets around to it. So what do you actually start tracking? 3 things. First, retain cases from organic tracked separately from your general lead count so you can see the real number instead of the inflated one. Second, cost per retained case calculated monthly, not estimated once a year, so you catch problems while they are still small. And third, your intake to retainer conversion percentage, so you know exactly where cases are being won or lost after the click happens. Once you're tracking those 3, you'll know within 1 quarter whether your SEO was actually building your firm or just building an agency's case study. This doesn't require an expensive new system to get started. Most firms already have a CRM, and most CRMs can tag a lead by source and track whether that lead eventually signed a retainer. The missing piece usually isn't technology. It's someone actually pulling that report every month and asking follow-up question. Of everyone we spoke with, how many became a client? And what did each one cost us? That single habit done consistently will tell you more about your marketing than a year of rankings report ever could. There's also a question worth asking your current agency directly, and it's a good test whether they're actually built for this or not. Ask them, can you tell me how many retained cases came from organic search last month and what we paid per retained case? A rankings-focused agency will usually pivot back to traffic numbers or explain that it isn't something they're typically tracking. A firm that's actually built around retained case economics will have an answer, or at a minimum, a plan for getting you one. That single question tends to expose the gap faster than anything else, because it forces the conversation away from vanity metrics and onto the number that actually funds your firm. It's also worth separating this from PPC dependency, because the 2 problems often get lumped together, but they aren't the same thing. A firm can be fully organic and still have no idea what its retained case economics look like. Tracking costs per retained case isn't about which channel you're using, paid or organic. It's about knowing channel by channel what it actually costs you to sign one more client. Once you have that number for organic search, you can compare it directly against what you're paying for PPC and make a real decision instead of a guess. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you never miss an upload. And if you found this content useful, share the channel with a personal injury attorney or law firm that may benefit from this video. I'm sure they will thank you for it. We'll see you in the next video.